If everybody could please bow their heads in a moment of silence for all of our fallen law enforcement officers. And now we'll be led into prayer by Father Stimson. Lord, mighty God, Heavenly Father, we give you thanks and praise for the gift of our lives, our families, our community, and our freedom. We give you thanks for the service of Chief Kurt Barker. We ask that you would bless him and keep him in this transition of his life and for his family. We indeed as well thank you for the blessings of our first responders, past, present, and indeed future. We ask you to pour forth your blessing of protection and guidance and peace upon our community, that we always might be safely carried in your fatherly arms, and bless all the days of our life, that we may join forever in glory with you and all the angels and saints forever and ever. In Jesus' name, amen. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out today. Special thanks to the fire department for allowing us to use their facilities today. At this time, I would like to honor all of our retired Macomb police officers in the room. So if you are a retired Macomb police officer, please stand. If you're Mike Brady, have somebody help him stand. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for your service. We got another one back here, Mr. Cachanovas, too. I'm not going to leave him out. He's already standing, so thank you, sir. I'd also like to thank our Police and Fire Commission for showing up here today, and also our City Council members and our City Administrator. Our new Chief, stand, Chief Darrell Jones. And now on to the main event, what we're all here for. To retire Chief Kurt Barker after 27 years of service to the Macomb Police Department. 2004, Chief Barker was promoted to the Deputy Chief position. In 2009, he was promoted to the Chief position. That's 17 years in administration at the Macomb City Police Department. An outstanding service for those times. And I'm going to start to list some of the accomplishments. If I listed all of them, we would all be here for a very long time, and I was told I have to be professional and fast, so I'm going to try to do that here. During Kurt's leadership, we made technology advancements at the police department, including cameras in cars, computers, tasers, license plate readers, cameras to our neighborhoods and our community for surveillance. He also started the Vehicle Impoundment Program. That program was a program that reduced accidents for us on the street and raised an estimated $90,000 per year revenue. He also started our first citations for city citations, where we write city citations here in Macomb, and Macomb gets some of the proceeds from that, and has been a great revenue for the city as well. He was also a part of our accreditation program. Macomb Police Department is accredited. The department is accredited, and we are number 11 in the state. That takes a great step. For those of you that don't know what accreditation means, that is a very tiring process, painful process, and a lot for an agency to do. And our Lieutenant Jeff Hammer runs it, does a phenomenal job with it, and we're very fortunate to have that. He has implemented our strategic response team. This team has never been in Macomb before. He put it in place, got the equipment for it, got the training for the officers. That team has been utilized in multiple incidents. He started that team shortly after the Farm King incident that we had here in Macomb. After the infamous Wheeler Block Party under his leadership, he implemented many mass gathering ordinances and other types of measures that would prevent any future issues, and that we still to date have not had one since then. The biggest accomplishment, one of them I believe, is 0 lawsuits in 12 years. And the area that we work now, as most of you know in law enforcement, 0 law enforcement in 12 years means you're doing something right. Citizens Police Academy, another fine thing that Chief Barker implemented for the Macomb Police Department. This was a chance for us to get to interact with community members, council members, other significant people in the community, bring them into the police department and show them how we operate and why we operate. One of the main things he did was establish an employee assistance program, probably one of my favorite things that he established during his time here. And that is where he brought in clergy to come and speak with us officers if we needed something, if we were struggling. I can tell you, everybody knows the area that I work in mostly in the room and the job that I do, and I'm usually involved in some of the bad stuff that happens, and I could almost promise you there'd be a clergyman sitting in my office the next day, thanks to Chief Barker. So that really helped a lot of our officers throughout the department. So as we talk about Kurt Barker today, we're going to have some speakers come up and talk here. I just want to leave you with a few things here and let you know that Kurt Barker was a man of family. He had a great wife, Angie, that's sitting up front here. His daughter, Michaela. Trust me, I know that name. He said it a lot. And Madison. Angie was very crucial for our police department during Kurt's time here as chief. She implemented a wife's group that was supportive for our officers when they needed it as well. As the job gets treacherous for us and we have to deal with quite a few things, it's nice to have that support at home. Being a leader is not taught. It's not learned in some training. You're born a leader. Chief Barker's a true leader. We are very honored to have him as our chief, and we appreciate your time. Thank you. And now Representative Noreen Hammond.
Thank you. Lindsay asked me if I needed a microphone. I said I didn't think so. That's probably the last thing I've ever needed in my life. And my parents are certainly, if they were here, they could attest to that. It is my honor to present to Chief Barker on behalf of the Illinois House of Representatives, 102nd General Assembly, House Resolution 189. I'm going to try to get through this. Whereas the members of the Illinois House of Representatives wish to congratulate Chief Kurt W. Barker on the occasion of his retirement from the Macomb Police Department, and whereas Chief Barker earned both of his degrees, a Bachelor in Science in Law Enforcement and Justice Administration in 1992, and Master of Arts in Law Enforcement and Justice Administration in 2010 from Western Illinois University. In addition to attending numerous law enforcement-related classes, he graduated from the Public Safety Police Staff and Command course, session number 323 at Northwestern University in 2012. He was given the designation of Certified Police Chief by the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police. Whereas Chief Barker served in the United States Army Reserves for over 20 years, which included 2 tours in Iraq. He was awarded the Bronze Medal Star Medal. He retired at the rank of Major. And whereas Chief Barker began his law enforcement career as a patrol officer with the Macomb Police Department in 1994, he was promoted to sergeant in 2001 and then promoted to lieutenant in 2004. Immediately after his promotion to lieutenant, he was appointed deputy chief and served in that capacity until his appointment as chief of police in 2009. He's held numerous additional duties within the Macomb Police Department, including as department training officer, master firearms instructor, field training officer, juvenile officer, honor guard member, explorers program advisor. He also served as an adjunct instructor of criminal justice coursework at Western Illinois University from 2017 to 2020. And whereas during his tenure as police chief, Chief Barker trained and led a department that responds to every call with professionalism, formulated and set forth work practices and procedures to improve police operations, oversaw the accreditation of the department, saved the city of Macomb thousands of dollars through budget cutting measures, obtained grants to further offset costs and fund programs, implemented programs such as the Strategic Response Team and the Explorers Program, and coordinated department activities with local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. And whereas Chief Barker belongs to a number of organizations, including the International Association of Chiefs of Police, the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police, the Central Illinois Association of Law Enforcement Executives, the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 189, American Legion Post Number 6, Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 1921, and whereas Chief Barker further serves his community in several ways, including treasurer of the McDonough County Emergency Telephone Systems Board, as a member of the McDonough County Quality of Life Committee, as treasurer of the McDonough County Macomb Communications Board, and a member of the Community University Partnership Program, CUP, and as a volunteer with the COP program. Therefore, be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the 102nd General Assembly of the State of Illinois that we congratulate Chief Kurt W. Barker on the occasion of his retirement from the Macomb Police Department. We commend you for your 27 years of service to this community, the state of Illinois, and be it further resolved that a suitable copy of this resolution will be presented to Chief Kurt Barker as an expression of our esteem and respect. Thank you. I just want to add real quickly on a more personal note, and I am honored to be able to present that to you, but more importantly, I want to say thank you for what you've done for this community. I know firsthand because oftentimes I've had to call you and you never failed to answer my call or call me back instantly. And whether it was me looking for insight or on that rare occasion where maybe I needed an officer to come visit my office, you've always been there. I appreciate that so much. Your family, Angie, Michaela, I'm going to get it right. Thank you so much for everything. Appreciate it very much. Love you.
Mayor Mike Inman.
Bittersweet to be here with you today, Chief. One thing I want to take a moment and thank Lieutenant Lindsey May for getting us all together here today. He coordinated it all. Let's give him a round of applause. And I don't know if any of you caught it just a moment ago, but I, like so many of you in this room, know and appreciate what it's like to have a good job, but how important it is to have a spouse that supports you. I caught a little wink between you and this lady right here, right as we got ready to go. Angie, thank you for supporting him and sharing him with us all these years. Thank you. You know, Lindsay mentioned that the last 17 years of Kurt's career have been in administration. I would tell you that he knows how to stop cars even at his last year in the job. Know that personally. Thank you for a nice stern warning and no ticket. It's my pleasure to read the following proclamation, Chief. And some of this is going to be a repeat, but I think it's worth repeating. It says, whereas Chief Kurt Barker began his law enforcement career as a patrol officer with the Macomb Police Department on January 5th, 1994, and whereas he was promoted to the position of sergeant in 2001 and later to lieutenant in 2004, and whereas immediately after his promotion to lieutenant, he was appointed as deputy chief, and he served in that capacity until his appointment as chief of police in 2009. And whereas Chief Barker has also served the department in numerous other capacities over the years, including department training officer, master firearms instructor, field training officer, juvenile officer, honored guard member, and explorer advisor. In other words, he's leaving his imprint on the future of this department. And whereas Chief Barker is a graduate of Northwestern University's School for Public Safety, Police Staff and Command course number 323, and he holds a Master's of Arts degree in Law Enforcement and Justice Administration from Western Illinois University. And whereas Chief Barker has also been given the designation of Certified Police Chief by the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police. And whereas Chief Barker served in the United States Army Reserves for 20 years, which included 2 tours in Iraq, where he was awarded the Bronze Star, and he retired at the rank of Major. And whereas Chief Barker's philosophy for the Macomb Police Department has been no call for service will ever be too small. Officers are required to provide police service to the community in the same manner and at the same level they would expect other law enforcement agencies to deliver police services to members of their own families. And whereas Chief Barker is supported by his loving wife Angie and his daughters Madison and Michaela, and whereas Chief Barker is retiring from the Macomb Police Department after an outstanding 20-plus year career, and a reception is being held in his honor today, April 30th, 2021. Now therefore, I, Michael J. Inman, Mayor of the City of Macomb, Illinois, do hereby proclaim today, Friday, April 30th, 2021, as Chief Kurt Barker Day. And I encourage all citizens of this city to join me in recognizing Chief Barker's many contributions and accomplishments and to congratulate him on his well-deserved retirement. Chief, thank you.
Thank you all for being here today. I was just up here today to speak to a little bit about our partnership and our collaboration here. Lindsay required 2 things from me. He wanted my speech that I was going to write, and he also wanted me to wear a white shirt, and if I knew there was going to be baked beans, I may have reconsidered the white shirt. So, just a little bit about us. Kurt has always been the voice of reason for me. Young sheriff came in here a few years ago. So his friendship, his mentorship, just some sound advice, always there for me. 911 system and the Macomb-McDonough County Communications Center. Our best wishes to you, presented to you this day in 2021. Thank you for your service.
All right, Chief Jones.
Thank you, Lieutenant May. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm humbled and very honored to be standing here before you to honor a wonderful man who has done a job a very long time. Give him another hand, please. I stand before you to present the award to Chief Kurt Barker for meritorious service. Let me read this to you. The award for meritorious service is an award for credible accomplishment, bringing public or professional acclaim to the officer, to the department, the police profession, as a result of showing initiative, devotion to duty, or service to the public. The meritorious service commendation bar is green, white, and green in color. This year was extremely difficult with the COVID-19 pandemic, in addition to several incidents at the national level, which have impacted our local climate. In other words, the current trends of the 21st century of policing have required police executives, such as Chief Barker, to explore innovative measures to remedy continuous miscommunication between law enforcement and the communities we serve. Chief Barker has tirelessly led the Macomb Police Department through periods of difficulty and turbulence during his 27-year tenure. If anyone knows true leadership, a good leader can lead during some of the most difficult times. In addition to this, under Chief Barker's leadership, officers have been provided state-of-the-art training such as crisis intervention, de-escalation, use of force, community policing, and procedural justice, just to name a few. Furthermore, Chief Barker was able to achieve accreditation through the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police and ILEAP at the Tier 1 and Tier 2 level. You're right, Lieutenant May, that is very, extremely difficult to achieve at the Tier 1, let alone the Tier 2 level. He has maintained sufficient staffing, even when departments nationally have experienced a mass exodus of departments personnel. Most importantly, he has maintained the respect and loyalty of his staff throughout his 27 years of service as a law enforcement professional. 12 of those, importantly, he was the chief of police. That is unseen almost in this current climate for law enforcement professionals to serve in over a decade just in that role alone. Very commendable. Chief Barker has demonstrated outstanding job performance and an extreme dedication to duty. Chief Barker's leadership and strong work ethic deserves recognition. It is therefore with great honor that the Macomb Police Department bestows upon Chief Kurt Barker the Award for Meritorious Service, presented on this day, the 30th day of April, 2021. Congratulations to you, Chief Barker.
Chief Deputy Kramer from Dunn County Sheriff's Office, and I believe Chuck Laird will be coming up with him as they have a gift for Chief Barker.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us. My involvement with Kurt has consisted mainly, fortunately, of Crime Stoppers and the Citizens Police Academy, which without his support of both of those organizations, neither of them would have been nearly as successful. We did get him a car. This isn't the one back here. It's a little bit smaller and a little bit underpowered, but they're both Fords, so that goes without saying. Anyway, we greatly appreciate all of your support that you've given us, and on a personal note, I'd like to thank all the law enforcement officers in the room for what you do for us day in and day out. It's very much appreciated, especially in the climate that we're experiencing today, so thank you.
Greetings again. I'm going to stand for you so that we can honor, again, Chief Barker with another well-deserved award.
Plaque thanking him for his services to the Macomb Police Department. And we also have got him a box over there, a shadow box. You can walk by and view it later. I don't want to break anything lifting it over here. So.
Let me read it first. The plaque says, it reads, with deep appreciation of more than 27 years of outstanding service to the Macomb Police Department and our community.
Sergeant Tedrow with the Macomb Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 189 has a gift for Chief Barker. Thank you, Chief. Thank you. On behalf of our FOP Lodge 189, we're presenting Chief Barker with a handgun that has etched in the handgun Chief Kurt Barker and the Macomb Police patch etched in it. And we thank him for all of his years to the FOP, his service from the fishing tournaments to Shop with a Cop to all the many programs he helped out with. Again, in closing, thank you everybody for coming today. Chief Barker, thank you.
I'm not as tall as them, and I might need it. So first, I just want to say thank you to everybody, but first I have to thank my wife, because if I forget that, now in retirement, I'm going to be with her a lot. So, so thank you, Angie, for everything. She's, you know, we did this program called Best Backup, and that's where we brought the spouses in, because without the spouses and the significant others, it would make this job very difficult. So thank you for being my best backup, Kayla. All right, thank everybody else. I really appreciate you coming, and I'll just kind of start from the beginning just a little bit and thank a few individuals. Chief Clark, I don't think he was made it here, but he was the first guy that offered me a job. So thank Chief Clark. Two of my FTOs are here. Sergeant Paul Kachanovas in the back, who jinxed me because when I was going through the FTO program, he predicted that I would be chief. And he told me that, and he still tells me that all the time. See, I told you were going to be chief someday. So thank you, Paul, for everything, all your insight throughout the years, staying in contact with me. Been one of my best intel officers I've ever had, so appreciate it, buddy. Bob Fitzgerald, thank you. You've been a great mentor my whole life. Great to have you. And Bob was always that guy that always stayed calm, you know, in all situations. Appreciate it. One time I was going to when somebody makes a warrant arrest or you have somebody, hit tones go off. So, you know, a young officer, because back then, honestly, our FTO program was pretty quick. And so, you know, somebody got the hit tones and Bob was there. And so I race over their lights and sirens and they're just standing there talking. And here I come pulling in, you know, I'm going to save the day because this guy got this hit tones. Got this wanted guy. Bob walks up to me and says, "Don't ever do that again." So, yeah, so I didn't forget that. So, everyone up here, thank you. I appreciate it. All the stuff you do. And Noreen was a little modest about all the stuff that she has done. It's been amazing. Thank you. All the way back from the Farm King incident to Wheeler Block Party to the snowstorms. I could always count on her being there at the Emergency Operations Center. If she didn't come in, she was calling to check on us. And if she wasn't doing that, she was buying all the food for all the officers and everybody that was working nonstop and that couldn't take a break. So thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for all your support. Chuck Laird, come on. You were a little easy there too. Chuck has done a lot for us. Talking about the our citizens group, he started an alumni group with that. So everybody that's went through the Citizens Police Academy, they're there for us. They're constantly being ambassadors out in the community. Unbelievable work. And Chuck, I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done. So I appreciate that. And I could just go on and on and on around the room. Lieutenant Carlson, thank you for all those years on nights keeping me in line. Appreciate that. And the rest of the officers. I couldn't have done the things that I did in the department without all the officers. And all these accomplishments that they all listed off wasn't really because of me. It was because of them. All I did was, give them a thumbs up and give them the resources to accomplish what they were wanting to do. And I always had good people working with me. Eric Lennart couldn't be here because his father passed away. Great backup. Next after him come Dave Burnham, hiding back there now in the background. Dave, raise your hand so everybody knows where you are. There you are. Yeah. Dave had my back for quite a few years there, and it's very difficult being deputy chief because you do all the work and you get no credit. Chief gets all the credit all the time, and everybody says that, the chief did this, chief did that, but I'm telling you, a lot of it comes from your deputy chief, and Dave did a lot of those things that they listed on there, and he was always there. And as a deputy chief, you just stay quiet and you do everything and you run around crazy like Lindsay's been doing now, because when they took away the deputy chief position, then I said, well, we got to have that second. We got to have somebody, so we made the lieutenant of investigations our ops guy, and so Lindsay has, I don't know how he does it. He works all the time, 24/7, between the police department, being a task force officer, to work in our drug team with the county. I mean, it's just, thank you. I can't say enough. So, yeah, and I can go on. And the gentleman up here, thank you for everything that you do. Sheriff, it's been a pleasure. Outstanding leader, doing a great job. And I do have a great replacement coming with Chief Jones. When I put my, I told Angie I was going to put my letter in. Well, what it really comes down to is I was tired of living alone, because she's been in the Ozarks building a practice for the last 3 years, and this last year's been practically full time. So I've been a bachelor for the last year, and I told her I was going to do it, and she's like, now? And I said, yeah. She said, I thought we were going to wait another year. I said, nah, it's time now. It's time to go. And so I presented the letter, and I presented a couple names to the mayor, and Chief Jones was one of those names, and that's who he chose. and I think he's gonna be an outstanding chief, and I hope everyone gives him the support they've given me. Okay, so with that, let's enjoy the food, the cake, the punch, and thank you. I almost forgot Leonard. Leonard, thank you for all your support too. I appreciate it, and there's so many. I just go around the room and name all of you guys. Mary, thank you, Mary. It's just unbelievable. So, thank you.